simply
And let's
explain it
not kid
away.
ourselves. And I fundamentally disagree with what Yogendra Kapoor has just said, which is that the Chinese don't have any expansionist tendencies. They've seen the light of the day. I disagree. I think if you gave them a chance, they would happily take over large tracts of Arunachal and Bhutan and others. I think they have a full intention of at least attempting to reunite, as they say, Taiwan, which would be an invasion of a sovereign country. I think all these things are true. But then if I look at Washington, then I'm told that, Canada should become a state and Greenland should also be occupied. And so if you told me 2 months ago that the United States of America for sure is not interested in territorial expansion, I would have believed you. But now I'm being told it's all up for grabs. The world is up for grabs. And that's either a good thing or a bad thing. So let's get a perspective from Professor Nalapat. Professor Nalapat, in the end, we also have to agree that the established systems as fixated in the period of 1944 to 1945, which is the Bretton Woods system, the Atlantic Charter, the UN system, all of them are outdated, they are defunct, they don't represent the realities of the world, they have not been reforming. Now, if the Americans, who are the principal pillar of the architecture in the like and form of the current administration, pay no hoots to the concept of WTO, give two hoots for the concept of free trade, are not really interested in bolstering NATO. It's the Secretary General of the UN is actually in sitting with Xi Jinping right now and having dinner. So, is it actually a contrarian argument that it is the right thing that these systems don't work? They need to be dismantled anyway, and that's not necessarily against our interests.
Look, Rishabh, the fact of the matter is that yes, the system is being dismantled. But one thing I'll tell you, if you read, for example, the Financial Times, they have said that it's very clear from their SCO meeting that China does not want Western Europe, does not want the United States anywhere involved in this new, quote unquote, new global order. So the reality is, frankly, that that is the Europeans are waking up finally to the reality, and the US is woken up, except for one gentleman. I mean, Donald Trump, who happens to be the president. I don't know what's happened to him. But I'd also like to say that I think a very interesting subject was touched upon, and that is Russia-China tensions. And believe me, the Russians are looking at the Chinese with not with the friendliest of looks where Central Asia is concerned. The Central Asian republics are now increasingly the focus of Chinese diplomatic attention, and they want to be the most influential power in Central Asia, as indeed they want to be throughout Eurasia. So Russia is not happy about that. Secondly, regarding this boundary dispute, well, it has been settled. There's no question about it. It has been settled. But if you look at Chinese social media, occasional outbursts are there. Oh my gosh, we settled it. Now we have to ensure that because we are much stronger, we have to have a fair boundary, quote unquote. As far as Arunachal is concerned, they have not given up their claim. They have constantly reiterated their claim, including the latest maps. They have in no way given up their claim. And as far as trade is concerned, well, guess who has benefited most from WTO? Guess who has benefited most from gaming all these international associations and institutions? China. China has built up an immense surplus of multiple countries. As far as India is concerned, the surplus is 100 million. And of course, if it goes to 200 million, 200 billion, they'll be delighted. But what about us? We will lose our manufacturing completely. But today, Rishabh,
finish your
opportunity for India is to attract this kind of investment from China because of geopolitical reality. And that's one thing the Prime Minister is doing, changing the framework to ensure that investment. And may I make one last point?
Yes, please, go ahead.
The Prime Minister keeps stressing the word mutual. Mutual. That is anathema to Chinese. For them, nothing is mutual. It's always China
I
plus.
agree with you, but